It's nice to meet you, my Icelanders. That's right, it's Mansant back on the official Flesh and Blood YouTube channel to bring you the last installment in the Road to Nationals Gauntlet series, where we finally take a look at Iyslander. And today I'm joined by a good friend of mine from the Chicagoland area and another great player here, Levi.
Yeah, you might have seen me on Roundtable of Wraith. Playing Azalea is what I'm known for most, and just enjoying playing as Iyslander now.
Great to have you here, Levi. So, as always, before we jump into the gameplay itself, we're going to, give a bit of a deep dive into why we're running the decks the way we are and what we're not going to run in each particular matchup. Because I think that's a better way to think about sideboarding, is what cards are you just not going to run to help you overcome your opponent. And in this kind of scenario, against a wizard, things like defense reactions, sink blows, and steel blade shunts, just not useful. They're not going to block any physical damage because really there's probably only nourishing emptiness coming at me. Same deal with Command and Conquer. This is mostly a card for your illusionist matchup, but also a way to pressure aggro decks that don't want to block and can hit their arsenal. Iyslander can play out her arsenal instant speed, so it just loses a lot of value. Not that useful. Remembrance and Time Snap Potion are for a grindy game when I'm trying to set up for an end game that's just better than my opponent's. But unfortunately, against Iyslander, she does that better than I can try to do that, because she can set up things like the Amulet of Ice and the Frost Hex to just lock me out of the game and deal me that killing blow when she's gone through her entire deck. So these, while they do bring me into the late game, I'm weaker than Iyslander, so we're just going to try to stick more aggressive than these cards allow. Then we're also not going to take the Fridge equipment set, which would be Skullcap, Courage of Bladehold, and Braveforge Bracers. These block really well, but once again, blocking is not that efficient in this matchup. Then we're also not going to take Dawnblade Resplendent. This is a really interesting card that came out in the new Classic Battles expansion for Dorinthea, because at face value, it's not stronger than the given Dawnblade here, but it has its uses in that the counter is not lost when it gains one off of the likes of something like Glistening Steelblade. So this card is in here for a matchup against like Oldhim or potentially even OG Bravo, where they block really well against your traditional Dawnblade counters, so you need a way to set up really big hands, stick Glistening Steelblade counters, and just build up a weapon that they can't interact with knocking the counters off of. But in this matchup, same deal. That takes a lot of setup that is very susceptible to disruption that Iyslander has. So we're not going to take it here. Instead, we're going to run Nullrune Hood, Nullrune Gloves, just a little bit of AB, Fyendal Spring Tunic, which actually has great interaction with this matchup, not just with extra resource, but if Levi ever tries to hit me with the Cornet Peak, I can respond with Fyendal Spring Tunic and basically not have to discard a card, which is really helpful. Refraction Bolters also pushes a bit extra damage here. Hopefully, coming in on a strong turn where it's going to let me threaten a Dawnblade counter, always ideal. And then, of course, the Dawnblade itself, there's the stock standard Dawnblade that I'm going to be using to hopefully ramp up counters, but it is really hard in this matchup, I will say, because of all the defense reactions that Levi has. Some key things to look for, and mainly the reason I wanted to show off Dorinthea for y'all today, is she did gain some tools in the Classic Battles expansion that are really unique and cool to play with for the traditional Dawnblade playstyle. And that is Glistening Steelblade. This Majestic is incredibly powerful in that it just is another way to unconditionally give go again to Dawnblade, and then whenever it hits, adding an additional +1 counter to the Dawnblade. This card normally takes a lot of setup to actually get through and hit, but if it happens, it's absolutely massive. Blade Flash and Run Through are just extra attack reactions that are going to give Dawnblade go again, which can help if I just swing in with Dawnblade and it's completely naked. I haven't buffed it in any way. My opponent can say no blocks. I can come in, give it go again, trigger Dorinthea, swing with Dawnblade all over again, try to get an extra counter. So I find these really, really useful. And then some key things for this matchup in particular that are trying to help overcome this Iyslander threat would be Oasis Respite. Now, I'm running this kind of in the same vein as Sink Blows and Steel Blade Shunts as just the defensive tool of choice in each matchup. Oasis Respite is going to normally be playable off Tunic or off the floating resources when I only pitch into 2 Nullrune, I have 1 left, to just negate some extra damage here and maybe even save myself from some of the OTK scenarios that Levi can set up for the end game. And one of the other important pieces in that is Energy Potion. Because this is an instant to destroy, I can potentially use Energy Potion just to recover from whenever I'd be locked out of Frostbites or in threat of taking a lot of frostbite damage at the end of his turn with the frost hexes, I can, pay resources into cracking energy potion, shake the frostbites because I will always have this available as an instant. So that's pretty much the rundown of this deck, but I'm sure you're a lot more interested to see what's going on with the Iyslander.
Yeah, so we'll start with the cards that we're not running. Equipment, we keep it pretty thin on equipment because we sideboard between plans. Robes are just there for Arcane Barrier into like Viscerai Arcano or the Mirror Match. Obviously no Arcane here, so we don't need that.
Sir.
While Ironhide Gauntlet does block pretty well, the Quell ends up being more important, so that comes out in this matchup as well. These are here for Dromai and Prism. I'm not worried about popping Phantasm, and I don't really care about attacking, so those come out. Over here, an interesting one that you'll see we're cutting out, we're taking out the Insidious Chills. And the reason is that Insidious Chill is mandatory, so when I use a Sigil of Permafrost during reactions, this is going to proc, but he has an opportunity to play out those resources, play out those cards in hand, and make it so the Insidious Chill doesn't actually do anything. So I end up just spending 3 resources in a card to not really do much here. So those come out. These Ice Bolts are coming out just because the typical play pattern involves using Tunic, and my Tunic resource is very important to have available when I need to stop him. And then one Freezing Point. This ends up being a finisher in a lot of matchups, but I'm not set on going for the OTK in this matchup. So I take out 1 and leave in the other 2. As far as cards that came in, we have the Coronet Peak, which that's why he needs the Tunic, is a really big one, because this lets me take him down to 3 card hands, which really slows his push. Tunic, obviously. Stormstriders, obviously. The Conduit has been amazing.
Let me tell you, I have a newfound hate for Quell as a Dorinthea player, and you'll probably see it come up this game. It is very strong.
It's only here for the Quell 1, and that's strictly because when he's going for a push, he can't only be over by 1, because I can just pay 1 resource on damage resolution, and there's no opportunity for him to do something else to make it hit.
Nope.
So just having that as a backup puts him in very awkward situations. And then Waning Moon, just as my standard chip damage. Some key cards in the matchup. We've got Aether Ice Vein and Channel Lake Frigid as huge tempo swings. Sometimes I may have to take some damage to set them up, but just being able to slow him down after he started to build those Dawnblade counters, I can really shut down his turn and slow down his push. The Frost Hexes are very interesting because depending on how early they show up, I may end up going for a Frost Hex plan, or maybe I won't. It really depends on how early I see them and how the pace of the game is going. The Oasis Respite and defense reactions are really important into Dorinthea, obviously. Oasis Respite being the most important, just because I'm able to block from hand without triggering Reprise. It's very, very strong. Also interesting note is if he uses Twinning Blade, Oasis Respite, any leftover will carry over to the next Dawnblade swing.
Let me tell you, when all these small interactions came up in our previous games, it was like headache after headache. So.
There are a million little interactions going on in this game.
It's a very interesting match.
Makes it very interesting. So
yeah, well, I'm pretty excited to get into it, Levi. Let's have a good game.
For
Best
sure.
of luck.
Let's do it.
All right, Levi, evens or odds?
I'll take odds.
All right. With that, I will actually choose to go first.
Sounds
no point getting you a free arsenal. Tell you what. 2, 3, 4. Cool. Well, we'll look at our first hand here. Take up Tunic at start. And, actually don't mind swinging Dawnblade because this hand is pretty resource light. It's not what you want going into Iyslander. So, even though he's going to get to trim a bit, I don't want to get stuck on a single blue. We're going to go ahead and swing 3.
I'll declare no blocks. Any reactions?
No reactions.
I'll play a Fate Foreseen. Go
Sounds
adopt.
good.
And I will leave that on top.
Cool. Yeah, no reactions on my end.
Sounds good.
Guess I could react to push damage. It's not worth it. Sure, we're going to go ahead past priority if you want to do anything.
Nothing from me.
Arsenal. Go. So, took out a defense reaction on turn 1. Yes, he got to opt a bit, but I'm fine with that.
Tunic goes to 1. So my turn is going to be Amulet of Ice. Waning Moon for 2.
Waning Moon for 2. So the reason I did that was to actually dig towards those blues I was talking about. but this hand isn't necessarily aggressive enough. Sure, we're going to go ahead and pitch into the null rune here, save some early HP.
Sounds good. I'm going to pass priority and move to Arsenal.
Sounds good. I will take up Tunic.
Sounds good.
And then get things started here with just Dawnblade. Float 2. Coming in for 3.
On the initial attack, I'm going to go ahead and pitch to play a Channel Lake Frigid. It's going to make a Frostbite from Iyslander.
Yes, it does.
And leave 1 floating. Going to blocks, I will declare no block. Any reactions?
Ooh, okay. Well, might as well push the free damage. I hope it's free damage. We will stroke a Foresight, just make it 6. Paying, breaking.
So nothing floating?
Nothing floating, coming in for 6.
I'll go ahead and play an Oasis Respite, targeting my hero and Dawnblade.
Sounds good. Yeah, I mean, I got nothing there.
All right, so I'll gain a life and then lose 2.
Yep. Look at that. I will pass it over to you.
Sounds good to me.
That card is so good. Oasis. Oasis, Oasis, Oasis.
Start of my turn, Tunic goes to 2. And I'm going to go ahead and activate Coronet Peak.
Yep, smart. I don't have my Tunic up yet, so it's actually going to...
And this is just going to slow him down to where I will get a full turn soon.
I'm going to just pay into it with a red.
Sounds good. And I will pass priority.
Sounds good.
Right, channeling 1, and then I'll Arsenal.
Yep, so we're looking at a very slow turn because of that channel. So we're just going to do small piddly things. Dawnblade coming in for 3, floating 1. That sucker cost me 2. Thanks a lot there, Levi.
No problem. Anytime. I'm going to go ahead and do this on the initial attack. So this is going to be 2 arcane and attempting to make a frostbite.
Sure. I'm going to... Yeah. We'll just pitch in to the arcane, let the frostbite go.
Yeah. And then going to the attack, I will declare no blocks. Any reactions?
No reactions.
All right, I will take 3.
Cool.
All right, closing this here. I'm going to Waning Moon for 3.
Yep. So pitching a red, you know, got the 1 floating here at least, so I'll only take 1. And then we'll just let the frostbite break and go to you.
Yeah, pass is good.
At least these got pitched early. So we'll be coming up maybe when they're key. But there are shuffles in this deck.
All right, Tunic. I think I'm going to make sure to keep my Channel Lake Frigid around. So we're going to Ice Bolt for 5.
Yeah, okay. Well, with Channel sticking an additional turn here...
Or I suppose I haven't actually committed to it.
Yeah, that's true. Well, with Channel potentially
it really comes down to what he tries to do here.
An extra turn here, and my hand also not being... Unfortunately, missing those pitch colors I'm looking for. Sure, we will go ahead and soak 2, take 3.
Sure. Take 2, 3. He still kept 3 in hand. I'll go ahead and move to Arsenal.
Ooh, okay. We'll just come in with Dawnblade for 3.
All right. On initial declaration, I'm going to play a Cold Snap. Attempting to freeze the Arsenal, make a Frostbite, and draw a card.
Yeah, we can let the Frostbite go for now. I'm not going to pay.
All right. So Arsenal is frozen.
Yep, Arsenal's frozen.
I'll get the draw from Cold Snap. And we'll go to blocks.
Sounds good.
I'll say no blocks. Any reactions?
Oh man, well when you do it that way, I mean, yeah, same deal. I don't want to get stuck with the all red, so we're going to pitch to break for the tunic resource.
Sure.
And then pump with razor, make it 6. Just to apply some kind of pressure here. It's really going to hurt the cornet pattern, but I can't just hold 2 reds.
We'll play Fate Foreseen.
Mm-hmm.
Option. We're going to put that to the bottom, and I'll go ahead and take 2.
Cool. I pushed 2 damage.
Hooray.
Past you.
Waning Moon for 3.
Yeah, we're just eating that every time. No resources anyway. All right, freeze will clear. So go to the bottom, and I'll draw.
I don't think I've ever done this play before, but I think it might be correct. I'm going to Tunic.
Yes.
Gain a resource. And peek.
Whoa. Man, I interrupted my tunic. You interrupted your tunic. You're still gonna tax me. Man, this was like the first turn I was gonna get to do something.
Nope.
But nope. But nope. Yeah, well, I mean, we're paying for it.
Sure.
We'll go there.
And I'll move to Arsenal.
Cool. I will take up tunic. Sure. We'll come in with Dawnblade. Just for 3.
I'm going to go ahead and play a Frost Hex here on the attack.
Okay.
Making a Frostbite as well.
Yep.
And then I'll declare no blocks. Any reactions?
No reactions.
I'm going to pitch for a Sigil.
Mm-hmm.
Fusing.
Mm-hmm.
2 floating. Attempting to block 4.
Yeah, still no reactions here.
All right. Nothing from me.
Cool. I'll close the chain here.
Yep. And then after the chain is closed, I'll go ahead and Waning Moon for 3.
Yep. So we're going to soak the 2 that we can. Yep. Still take 1.
And then that'll make a second Frostbite.
Gonna give us a second frostbite. Yep. But then at end of turn, these are going to attempt to trigger.
1 arcane each. Yep.
And do I cycle that full hand? I think I do. Yeah. We are going to then pitch red, then blue.
Sounds good.
Negate the arcane. And draw, go to you.
All right. Start of my turn. Tunic goes to 1. And I will move to Arsenal.
Cool. All right. We're not getting cornet taxed. Thank goodness. Tunic up. Unfortunately not at 3. This would have been a great 5-card hand here. Unless that's something like another channel. Or another blizzard. Or hypothermia. Man. All of them things.
Could even be a boat.
I will... Yep. We're going to play out the Steelblade Supremacy here. Anything before resolution?
I'll go ahead and play an Amulet of Ice.
Okay. Just a single frostbite? I don't mind that. Then we're going to go and swing with Dawnblade. Going to cost 2. Break the frost. Coming in for 5. Oops.
Unfortunately, I think I need to try and disrupt this turn. Three in hand, nothing float.
3 in hand, nothing floating.
I'll go ahead and block for 6.
Cool.
Any reactions?
I am going to react on this, but I don't love
nice.
it. We're gonna go with a stroke. I fully expect something else here, unfortunately. So anything before the reprise?
Go ahead and resolve the reprise.
All right, we will draw this. Interesting. So this depends on what I expect from Levi here. 1D react's gonna stop this. And he gets to continue the same play pattern, just Arsenal pass. Really tough to get through. This is also one of those instances where Quell is just going to ruin me. Because I can go for a specific breakpoint. I really can. I can force it. We're going to put that one on top.
All right. I'll go ahead and Oasis for Spite. Moving 2 floating.
My goodness. Yep.
Heal 1 here.
You are going to heal 1. Sure. I'm going to Razor. We'll make it 11. which is 1 over.
Yeah. No further reactions. Go to
Nothing
damage
else? Go to damage resolution.
I'll
Sure.
quell 1.
Cool. So the cool interaction there is like I don't have to commit refraction because I would otherwise, but he quelled, so it's not going to hit anyway.
Yeah.
But I did make that go away, and I'm very happy about that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, with that hand, I needed to go to a position where I had to stop that there. If I didn't, I had nothing in hand. And
Yep.
yeah.
Well, that was good. I had a good turn there, and it is going to go into my Tunic 3, so we'll see what we can do with that.
Yeah, and I'm stuck without an arsenal. So
Heck
my
yeah.
turn is just going to be Tunic and pass back to you.
Cool. Well, this wasn't that amazing hand we were hoping to draw into, was it? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. We'll come in with Dawnblade for 3.
No blocks. Any reactions?
Man, it's definitely a defense reaction here, like 1,000%. I can sack a card in and just gets wasted. And it's not my only decent arsenal. Yeah, I guess we can force through. Sure. I will give this go again.
I'm going to go ahead and play a sink below. Am I good to resolve the sink?
You're good.
I can't be that greedy. No sink.
All right. You got room to be greedy, I'll tell you what. With that, I've got no further reactions.
Sure.
I'll move to Arsenal.
Nothing from me? Cool. Oh, I really wanted to sink that second thing, but I get punished so hard if I do.
We'll see what happens. Tell you what, my hand wasn't in a great spot to punish, so.
Yeah, but I don't know that.
You don't know that. That's fair. I know that, and I'm suffering through it turn by turn.
I'm going to go ahead and peek. Just try and get rid of that Tunic counter.
Yeah.
Or he'll tell me he has a bad hand by paying for it.
Yep, I can also definitely tell you I have a bad hand. Yeah. All right, we're going to just pay to it.
Sure. And I will proceed to Arsenal.
Cool. Let that go. On my turn, I will simply come in with Dawnblade for 3.
I'll declare no blocks. Any reactions?
No reaction.
Sink below. Am I good to resolve the sink?
You are set.
I will choose not to sink.
Cool. I will not react either.
All right.
We'll let this go. Anything before end of turn?
Nothing from me.
Cool. I'll draw 2. We really want the perfect 5 card set up here. That's pretty close.
I don't like to hear that. Let's go ahead and freezing point for 5. No fuse.
Sure. That's one of the big boy cards. Let's check it real quick.
It's just going to be 5 if it's not fused. Otherwise, it would be getting 1 extra per Ice Affliction and Frostbite.
So it's just 5? Vanilla damage sounds okay. I will say no Arcane Barrier. Take the 5.
Nothing from me.
Take the 5.
I will pass the turn to you.
Cool. This is where I hope that Arsenal is, once again, not a Channel Lake Frigid. You know how much I would not like you if you did that to me? I will play a Steelblade Supremacy.
I will respond with your good
friend. I love that card.
And making a Frostbite as well.
Before resolution.
Sure.
I might just have to gain the Tunic now if I still want to turn. That's fine. Gain the Frostbite.
Sure.
Then I will proceed by paying here.
Yep.
Leave 1 float. Coming in with the Dawnblade for 5.
6.
Only 1 card in hand. We can hopefully call it that it's not a defense reaction. You don't have the quell anymore either. Sure. We're going to pay 1 for the glint draw trigger.
Go ahead and resolve that.
Oh, I needed not that color of card.
No reactions from me right now.
Okay. Then we will pump it by 3 again.
All right.
Pitching a red.
Here's where I will play the Oasis Respite.
And it all crumbles. It all crumbles. That would have been decent too, because yes, it's the wrong pitch color, so I don't get to keep a card for Arsenal. But Steelblade would have drawn.
Yeah.
Ah, alright. That's it. Was the 5-card hand even trying to push through channel? I mean, the tax was the tax, but I'll pass it over to you.
Alright, and unfortunately I had to throw my entire hand to stop that, so my turn will just be Channel Lake Frigid blowing up.
Yep. So in the end, that's not that bad for us, because we're going into 4 cards with Tunic again with no channel up. So we're really hoping that we can push here. I'd really love that. So we're going to start with Dawnblade for 3. Floating 2.
I'll block for 3.
Reactions to me.
Sure.
I will pump it to 6 with an out for blood.
No reactions from me.
Reactions back to me.
Yeah.
I will out for blood again.
Okay,
Make
up to 9.
Make it 9. Where'd the 3 go? There it is. Ouch. Make it 9.
Yeah, no reactions from me.
Okay, now it's a question. Yeah, no reactions on my end.
All right, I will take 6.
On you taking the 6, what could happen here is I refraction. These are going to get the buffs, making this a 5, which demands 2 cards, which you're happy to do, and then just Arsenal. This is unfortunately not good enough. You'll take 6. I'll pass priority.
Sounds good.
Arsenal.
Phew.
1, 2, 3, 4.
My turn is going to be to play a Hypothermia. And then Waning Moon for 2.
Cool. Man, Hypothermia is really messing up what this can do. And I'm forced to play it this way. Sure. I'll soak 2 on the Waning Moon.
All right. And I'll go to pass priority.
Cool. Put these in.
So it's the 3rd Steelblade Supremacy I've seen?
Yep.
Played 2. Okay.
No shuffle yet. Haven't seen a singing.
Right.
I'd love to have seen a singing, tell you what.
Over to you.
Yep. So on my turn here, we're just going to swing in with Dawnblade for 3.
I'm going to pitch to play a Cold Snap on the attack.
Getting that Frostbite, eh?
Yes, it'll be a Frostbite and potentially Freezing Arsenal.
I will actually pay for the effect. Gain the Frostbite.
All right, I'll resolve the draw.
Frozen. Yep.
This is coming in for 3.
Yeah, it's just 3. Just 3. I really wish we were using these bad turns to build energy potions. We haven't seen them. Where I wish some of these attack reaction turns were singing. Didn't see them.
Go ahead and block for 3.
No reaction.
All right, nothing from me.
All right, pass it over.
I'll go ahead and Waning Moon for 3.
Yep, so I will pay for the Tunic, breaking the Frostbite.
Okay.
Gaining this, and then I will just Oasis the Waning Moon.
Sure.
So that I can Arsenal something way more valuable for my big plays.
So
and we'll go here. Hypothermia breaks, I'll draw.
All right.
3, 4.
My turn is going to be Aether Hail for 4.
So we're looking at 6 Arcane coming at me. This is fine. We need to find our turn.
All right, and then 2.
Yep, we'll take the 6 total. 21. Start by trying to play Warrior's Valor here. 2 floating. You're not going to let my Dawnblade hit anyway, but hey, that's a buff 3 at least.
I'll go ahead and play a Winter's Bite here.
Oof. All right, well, I'm getting the Frostbite, and I'm paying 1.
Sounds good. Warrior's Valor resolves.
Cool. Then we will pitch in for Dawnblade. So Frostbite makes it cost 2. So we still have 2 floating, coming in for 6. Finding a double blue turn with Arsenal is probably the best we can hope for right now.
I'll go ahead and block 6.
All right, I'm going to singing as a defense react or as an attack reaction here. Anything before the effect?
No, nothing here.
Okay, we'll go ahead and search. So I think the play we have to make, unless you have 2 defense reactions, which let me tell you, is so possible. And you even have Tunic up for Oasis, so like there's more outs to it than normal. Is to actually go for this to push 1 over again, then go for this on the draw. Yeah, I have to play around like the 1 defense reaction at least. We will search another singing. Anything on your end?
Nope.
Yep, you're forcing me to have to do it. I'll play another singing, make it 8. We'll grab the Ironsong with that one.
Going up to 8.
Make it 8.
No reactions here.
When you pass on reactions, I will play this here, make it 11.
No reactions from me.
Nothing else on my end.
All right, I'll take 5.
Take 5. Ay, ay, ay. All that work. Dawnblade will get the go again with Dorinthea and all that. Just to swing 1 more time. Just for 3 now. That feels really bad.
No blocks.
No reaction.
All right, I will take 3.
1, 2, 3. Well, that is 2 hits on the Dawnblade here, so I am going to get a counter at end of turn. And then pass it over to you.
So now that he's got that counter, I need to do as much as I can to disrupt here. So I'm going to activate Peek, pitching an amulet device.
That's a non-block.
Uh-huh.
Was it 2 non-blocks in hand? I did all that work to play around 1 defense reaction. All right, we're just gonna.
All right, and I will move to
here. Okay. So unfortunately, decent turn. We're gonna come in with Dawnblade for 4.
Got 1 floating.
Floating just the 1.
I will Winter's Bite here.
Oof, that is very painful. Yep, because I'm gonna gain the Frostbite. And then, yep, pay the 1.
All right, I'll declare no blocks. Any reactions?
No reactions.
Pitch for Sigil. Fuse. Leaving 2 floating. Any reactions?
I really want to try to get greedy off the top, but I just can't afford it. That Frostbite. I was expecting to play around 1 Frostbite, but the Winter's Bite tax is pretty huge. No reaction.
All right, I'm good to let it resolve.
Cool. You are blocking the full 4.
And I will go ahead and Waning Moon for 3. Any arcane it deals will make that many Frostbites.
Yep. So we're going to go ahead pitch 2 in. I'll take 1, which makes 1 more Frostbite. Yep. Well, I'm losing the counter anyway, so we'll put it here. And leave 1 floating.
Sure. You have 1 in hand?
1 in hand.
I'm going to go ahead and activate an amulet device. I don't want you to get the arsenal.
This is the card I wanted to play out.
It hurts a little bit that you had the blue.
It is a blue, yeah. Cool. End of turn then. We'll pay into the Frostbite. Arcane damage from the Frost X. And go to you.
All right. My turn is going to be peak.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna pay in there.
Sure. I'll move to Arsenal.
Yep. And we'll take up Tunic. And we'll just see what happens. Naked Dawnblade for 3.
I'll say no blocks.
I mean, we can pretend, right? I will run through. Give it go again. Hope that you don't have the D-react here. But, I mean, you run like 15. 15.
Yeah, no reactions.
You're taking 3?
Yes, I am.
1, 2, 3. All right, well, then with the go again and the Dorinthea trigger on Dawnblade, I'll come in for 5. Spend this. 5 at you.
I'll go ahead and block 5.
Oh boy, you wish. I don't have anything though. That would have been nuts, because obviously you don't have a D-react this turn. Dang, man. Dang. Yeah, that's fine. Block's good. Pass priority to you.
Sounds good.
Arsenal. Alright. We are getting back into the position we really want to. We push damage. We've got Levi down. He doesn't actually have like a huge...
Aether Ice Vein.
Oh,
fused.
Well, never mind. Look what's coming. Look what's coming and look at what my hand is. Jesus.
Unfortunately, I've been forced to block with some combo pieces this game, so I'm...
Yeah. Alright, well...
more on the back foot than I'd like to be.
I know you're just going to pop into the Frost X on me next turn, but I just don't have the hand to push through anything, especially since I know I'll get the Frostbite from it. So we're going to pitch into the 2 Arcane.
Sure.
Take 3. And then pitch into the effect as well.
I'll move to Arsenal. Okay, that was the tempo swing I needed.
Yeah, all red hand. All red hand.
Over to you. Play a Frost Hex.
Yep.
Making a Frostbite. And then I think I need to push damage while I have the opportunity. So I am going to Moon for 3.
Yep, and I'll take 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
And then
you're good to pass your turn.
Take 2 from here. Oof. Okay. Well, what we're hoping to pull off from that is a 5-card hand with Tunic with cards we want. That is everything I could ask for, please. Please.
I'm going to play out an energy potion and move to Arsenal.
Okay. So unless that's a Channel Lake. Unless that's a Channel Lake. We'll start with Spoils of War. Anything on this?
No. Spoils is good.
Not a Channel Lake. It's not a Channel Lake. Then we'll come in for 5. Go again. Spend another 1.
There's the Channel Lake.
Ooh.
Blocking for 5.
Down with that. Okay. Blocking exactly for 5. Alright. As a reaction, I'm going to Twinning Blade. Let it attack again. I suspect the defense reaction in Arsenal here.
No
over
reactions.
a Frostbite. Okay.
So resolution.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, resolution. Go for it.
I'll try a Blizzard.
Ooh.
And that will also be making a Frostbite.
Wow. Okay. This is true. All right. In that case, you said resolution, so I can no longer react.
The one after damage, but before the go again resolves, whatever it's called. I think it's resolution step.
We're going to pay for the go again.
And then you'll get a Frostbite.
And I'll get the Frostbite.
Sure.
Cool. All right, well, that one didn't hit. I retained the go again, though. So then I'm going to pay to crack the tunic, which will break the frostbite.
Mm-hmm.
Anything on that?
Nothing here.
So then we're going to send in the Dawnblade for 3. No floating anymore. Yeah, nothing floating anymore.
We'll say no blocks. Any reactions?
No reactions.
We'll go ahead and play the 8 for seeing out arsenal. Opting 1, and I will leave it on top.
All right, well then I'll move to arsenal here. And go to you.
All right, my turn is just going to be arsenal and pass.
I will start with the spoils.
Yeah.
Anything?
Nothing here.
All right, Dawnblade for 5. Looks like a similar turn.
Gonna activate tunic.
Mm-hmm.
Go to blocks.
Yep.
Block 1. Any reactions?
No reactions.
I will Sigil of Permafrost. Fusing. Paying here.
Mm-hmm. You're blocking 5?
Currently, yes.
Currently. Yeah, currently. I'm going to hit it with an overpower, give it +6. Coming in for 11. No floating, though. Actually, I'm going to overpay for that. Leave 1 floating.
Yeah, you would.
Yep.
I was like, man, it seems like a good time to Amulet of Ice. Okay, let's go for this. This is
this is
floating.
Double Frost Axe lethal.
Okay, I just got to make sure, because right now you'd be doing 6. 3 more would be a total of 9, even with the floating resource.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I think we should be good. I'm going to play an energy pot out of arsenal.
Okay. Oh, beautiful.
I'm going to crack double energy pot, gaining 4 resources. I will spend 1 for Stormstriders.
Yep.
Spend the 3. Aether Ice Vein fused. Coming in for 5 arcane, making that many frostbites when it deals damage.
Mm. Yep. Well, I can soak 1.
Okay.
So I'll take 1, 2, 3, 4.
Making 4 frostbites.
Gain 4 frostbites. That's already lethal.
Yep. And then I'll go ahead and Wing Moon for 3.
I take 10 at end of turn. And that's it.
Good game.
Good game. Okay, well, look at that. That was a Dorinthea versus Iyslander match for us. And Dorinthea, you know, the life lead wasn't really there for most of the game, but I really felt like the pressure was getting to the point where Levi was actually running out of deck. I don't know if you were able to see it on camera, but
yeah,
he was blocking so heavily that the deck was getting slim enough, but I was also running out of the time to set up and try to get 1 more 5-card push. And that's inevitably what got me at the end, was just the game went a little too late. He got the setup he wanted and killed me. So I think there were a couple things to learn from this that could have helped actually progress the game. And for the first thing to note is actually that double out for blood turn, where I was really considering to use the refraction bolters or not. And I decided to hold it because the only thing he had to do to stop that turn in its tracks was have a 3-block. But at the same time, there really wasn't another opportunity to use the refraction bolters, so playing more aggressively, playing for the gamble to actually force it out could have been the correct play. And actually, Levi, I think you mentioned...
I think this was the hand. It might not have been this exactly, but it was very bad.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know that I can effectively stop the counter if he uses the refraction bolters here.
Right. So if you were caught on like a 2-block and a non-block, then you sack peak or something to turn it off, and that would have been huge. So I think knowing that I need to close the game quickly, that should have just been the play. Force it out. Even if you have it, you just have it. But I need to apply that pressure, right?
Yeah.
Find those times where I can get you without arsenal and actually have my big turn into you unimpeded. Because talking about being impeded, my gosh, there were other situations that arose, especially that double singing turn, where I'm so paranoid about all the defense reactions he has, and also forced to play in a way that I need to anticipate the defense reaction, because he can just wait until the math is effective for him to just play the defense reaction out and stump my turn. So the double singing to call his defense reaction, pushes damage, sure, but then he just saves it for the next one. So I think there might have been a more effective line in actually pushing that turn through, But in the moment, you know, I did call the defense reaction was there. It was there. It's always there, to be honest. It's always there. But the main thing that was like really stopping me from going bigger than I wanted was the lack of energy potions early in the game. In testing, the energy potions having like 1 or 2 set up, so impactful in not only having more ability to pay for these big turns, but also Levi is now thinking more about the potential for me to stop his big arcane push at the end. So not seeing the energy potions was really weird that game. I had the one that I even was opting to Arsenal, just knowing how important dropping the energy potion is after maybe like a go again off of a Dawnblade, but it just never came up this game. But this is a good card, I promise. Last thing on my end, there was the turn where I opted for Twinning Blade instead of playing out the Overpower, and this was more so because I wanted to go. I called that his arsenal was not an ice card, so I would be able to actually go wide with the twinning and pay for everything that I wanted to and hold the Overpower for the next turn. However, what I didn't know is that he had a Blizzard in hand. And this card right here messed up everything, because after that, it absolutely should have been me calling the potential that he had Blizzard, just pitching in here, going tall. Defense reaction or not, this still pushes damage over and doesn't just leave me stranded after that Blizzard went through, because that really sacked the turn. So some minor things that didn't quite go my way, but you know, the pressure was there. Levi was sweating a little bit. Tell you what, not every one of these games was he sweating. So.
There was some sweat that game. If you noticed, I blocked with my final freezing point, the card I definitely like to go or use to close out the game with the Stormstriders. I had to block with a Frost Hex as well. And actually, I believe this was my last red attack, or red spell. It was just Ice Eternals after that, because I kept having to throw them in front of the Dawnblade. The pressure was just unrelenting, which is why I knew I really had to go for it as soon as I saw the opportunity.
And you did, and you closed it.
The energy pots were huge, like he mentioned. If he has those energy pots, I think on that last turn, I think 2 of them would have been able to take you up to 5 resources. Maybe you would have needed a 3rd to activate something. Maybe a tunic resource. But there are different ways of arranging that to where I would be making 4 frostbites, and he's able to use those energy pots to stock up the resources and pay for the frostbites and prevent a bunch of the arcane at the end of the turn with the frost hex. So the more energy pots are in play, the harder it is for me to go for a kill.
But there were 0.
Which is why I was able to squeeze by.
Yep. Well,
but again, that's the benefit of being able to play everything at instant speed and react, is I don't have to give him that information until after he's made his decision.
Right, I'm the one in the unknown, and I'm the one having to make tough calls on what turns he has 2 defense reactions, what turns he has 3, what turns are there Oasis waiting in his hand.
And when I have 0.
It's kind of a nightmare. But, you know, we got to show off some cool new heroes here. You got to see the power of Iyslander setting up her sticky board here with the frost hexes and the amulets and energy potions for a pretty amazing kill at the end there. So, hey, Levi swears by Iyslander. I think she's pretty good for this RTN season, so I'd give this deck a go if I were you.
And just dodge the prisms.
Dodge the prisms. Well, on that note, Levi, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, for sure.
Had a great game.